There are several basic requirements for being Oliver's bodyguard. You need to be quick-witted, strong, and fast-handed. When the big shot gets up in a mess, you should quickly carry him to the bed, making him feel no pressure at all. I think I've been doing a pretty good job in this regard. With just a glance from Oliver, I know he wants to be carried, but lately, Oliver has been quite dissatisfied with me and doesn't even let me follow him around on ordinary days. I stared at the corner of the wall, bored out of my mind, trying to figure out how to win Oliver's exclusive favor. After all, he's really generous with money. After consulting Emma, I confidently carried this thing called soufflé and knocked on Oliver's door. He maneuvered his wheelchair and came up to me coldly. "What's up?" I made funny faces and handed the plate in my hand to Oliver. Couldn't help but soften my voice. "Oliver, give it a try. I made it especially for you. It must be delicious." Oliver looked down at the mess on the plate, seemingly hesitant to speak. "If you want me dead, just say so. No need to poison me." My enthusiasm was half-cooled. Looking at the thing on the plate, it really didn't seem like something good. "Sorry, I've caused you trouble again." I'm itching to serve Oliver, but his lukewarm attitude makes it hard for me to tell if he's still angry. I squatted beside him and gave a flattering smile. "This doesn't taste good. I'll throw it away later. When I learn how to make it better, I'll make you something delicious." I instinctively moved to pour it into the trash can, but Oliver forcefully twisted my arm in the opposite direction and silently scooped up a portion that didn't look half bad. Oliver's actions made my heart pound. I didn't have time to stop him, so I quickly stepped forward and handed him some water. "It's not bad, but don't make it again next time. Listen to me, only enter a worst cooked food contest next time." Oliver was so overwhelmed by the sweetness that his brows knitted tightly, and he ignored the tissue I offered for him to spit it out. Staring at his lips, my face flushed inexplicably. Oliver noticed my odd behavior, and his handsome face moved closer and closer to mine. "What are you thinking? Your lips felt really soft when I kissed you that night." Bang! I was kicked out of the room by Oliver again. What happened that night was completely an accident. Logically, a mature bodyguard wouldn't make such a rookie mistake. But not only did I make that mistake, I even went further and gave Oliver a peck on the lips. Then, like a heartless guy, I stepped back several paces and said it was all just an accident. I deserved to be kicked out by Oliver, but it was unfair that he wouldn't let me back and replaced me with someone else to attend to him. I felt so wrong. That's why I've been trying to get close to Oliver these past couple of days whenever I had the chance. His cold attitude really got to me. The entire security team is spreading the word that I've fallen out of favor, and there are countless bodyguards who are laughing at me. Henry, who can't stand the sight of me the most, has become a favorite around Oliver lately. I keep quiet in the face of his provocations. I let his fists land on me. Seeing his smug look, I deliberately leaned my face towards him. Sure enough, I ended up with a large patch of bruises. When Oliver returned to the villa in the evening, he furrowed his brows and called me into his room. I eagerly followed him and let his hand with an ice pack press against my face. "Matthew, are you doing this on purpose? I don't believe you couldn't dodge Henry's punches." I rested my face on his lap. If I dodged, could I still enjoy this treatment? Oliver and I stared at each other in silence. After a while, he grabbed my collar and pulled me closer to him. The scent of sandalwood made me sink. Oliver laughed out of extreme anger. "Matthew, do I need to remind you that just a few days ago, you told me that you're straight and not interested in men?" My face turned an odd shade of red. I mumbled softly, like a mosquito, "But I'm interested in you." Oliver was so amused by me that he stuffed all the things in his hands into mine and left in his wheelchair without looking back. I quickly rushed over and, with lightning speed, easily carried Oliver onto the bed. The requirements for applying to be Oliver's bodyguard are simple. First, you need to be strong. Second, you need to be meticulous. I believe I'm the perfect candidate to be his personal bodyguard. Oliver can't stand even the slightest strange smell on his body. When cleaning my wound just now, a few drops landed on his clothes. He frowned but still endured it and finished applying medicine to me. I squinted my eyes without hesitation. "Oliver, let me give you a bath." Oliver was stunned for a moment, and the tips of his ears instantly turned bright red. He casually picked up something and threw it right into my arms. "You're shameless." I felt wrong. I guess I'm falling out of favor. Oliver won't even let me do these tasks that are part of my job. I'm like a poor little thing, all sad and forlorn. If you don't want me to give you a bath, who do you want? Henry? He looks like he could punch you hard enough to make you spit blood. His hands are so rough, they could probably scrub your back. I bit my lip and made a decision against my employer's wishes. In the steamy bathroom, Oliver's resisting sounds were all drowned out by the sound of water. During a lull in the water flow, Oliver gritted his teeth. Matthew, I'm only temporarily disabled, not permanently. You just wait. When I get back on my feet, I'll beat you to a pulp. Feels good to vent for a moment, but chasing after the employer will lead to big trouble. I was unceremoniously kicked out of the room by Oliver and sent to work in the garden farthest from him. When Henry passed by me, he stuck his head up, looking like a cocky turkey. Matthew, what are you doing here? Did Oliver dump you? I grabbed his collar and pulled it down, kneeing him in the process. Watch your mouth. Oliver would sell you off before he'd get rid of me. Henry wasn't annoyed, just gave a cold snort. Let's see how long you can keep up that tough talk. Let go of me. I need to attend to Mr. Oliver. I was so frustrated that I could only kick a tree to let off steam. The year-end work report meeting is coming up in a couple of days. If I can't make Oliver happy again, I'll be the most embarrassing bodyguard in the business. This time, Oliver is dead set on ignoring me. He doesn't even glance at me when he passes by. He has businesses all over the place and often needs to go on business trips. I used to be by his side all the time. Now Henry just steps in and takes my place. I was so mad that I huffed and puffed, chasing after them on my bike. The deal was set to take place on the hill behind a school on the outskirts of the city. Although Oliver was in a wheelchair, his imposing manner was undiminished. The guy across from him was all smiles and bows, but his eyes were full of disdain. Boss Fu, are you satisfied with the outcome of this deal? I think you didn't need to come in person. It's just a small matter. You could have sent someone from your entourage. Oliver is the youngest head of the Fu family. Since he took office, he's ruffled a lot of feathers, especially after his car accident. Everyone hoped he'd be down and out, but Oliver was never one to be easily defeated. They thought Oliver would never get back on his feet, but I was the only one who saw him struggling through rehab every day. His cheeks were flushed, sweat dripped from his forehead, and his brows were tightly furrowed in pain. Only then did he show a hint of vulnerability. I felt a pang of bitterness in my heart. I haven't been by his side lately, and Henry's really got lucky. That oaf doesn't know anything. How could he be as cute and sensible as me? I've got to figure out a way to regain my position. When Oliver was on his way back, someone tampered with his car. Henry wanted to deal with it, but he didn't dare leave Oliver alone. It would take some time for the people from the old mansion to arrive. I was overjoyed. I tossed my bike aside and strode forward in front of Oliver's astonished gaze. Henry, you go. I'll protect Oliver. Oliver maneuvered his wheelchair in front of me. I crouched down to let him look me over. What are you doing here? I answered without hesitation. Of course I'm worried about your safety. Oliver was amused by my words. Henry seized the opportunity. Matthew, following the master is punishable. Who knows if you have some bad intentions? Oliver didn't say anything. My heart sank. You don't trust me either? I admit I was impulsive, my tone accusatory. In Oliver's silence, I sensed the answer. A gust of autumn wind blew, and fallen leaves drifted onto me, adding a touch of desolation. I lost all my strength and let out a bitter chuckle, lowering my head. So I was the extra one. Matthew, we'll go back and accept the punishment willingly. I took a deep breath and turned to leave. Oliver suddenly called out to me. Matthew, what do you mean by this? What are you trying to pull with me? I didn't turn back. I know you've never trusted me from the start. You kept me around just to keep an eye on me. After all, I'm the one who caused your car accident, right? Oliver and I have come to this. I know he's naturally suspicious, and my background is unknown, but he easily dismissed the friendship we'd built over these days. After that unpleasant parting, I started avoiding Oliver. A few times when our eyes met in a corner, I quickly looked away. Oliver looked impatient, tugging at his tie. His patience was running out. I was stubborn and refused to go up to him. Staring at the cold bedboard every day, I felt miserable. I tossed and turned in bed. Even a dog would show some affection. Why is he so cold to me? The sound of my tossing and turning drew the dissatisfaction of my roommate. Matthew, if you're not going to sleep, others still want to. Face it, Oliver has dumped you already. have you figured out what you're gonna say at the upcoming performance review in a couple of days? The jeers from the side made me furious. How could Oliver dump me? Even if he did, they have no right to spout such nonsense here. Don't think that just because you were the master's lover you can act recklessly. You got dumped right away, didn't you? You're not at a total loss. At least you got a taste of being with the master. Don't say I didn't warn you. There are at least 8 or 10 pretty boys like you around the master. Don't flatter yourself. I shot up to my feet, walked over to the one spouting off, and suddenly swung my fist. I got beaten up, but my anger didn't subside. I hit harder and harder, not even noticing when Oliver showed up. Stop! Matthew, what the hell are you doing in the middle of the night? I gave him a long look, but didn't stop what I was doing. Amidst the wails, I endured the pain and crouched in front of Oliver. Why are you here? Oliver had just been woken up. His brows were knitted tightly, and his eyes were full of fatigue. My heart ached. I've caused you trouble again. I'll go accept the punishment myself. The air here is bad. You should go back. Oliver's clothes were thin, so I summoned up my courage and draped my clothes over him. As I turned to leave, Oliver grabbed my hand. Matthew, you've been acting more and more outrageously lately. Do you still recognize me as the head of the family in your eyes? I was eager to explain. You're the only one in my heart, with more than a dozen pairs of eyes burning into my back. I knew I'd said the wrong thing, and my ears were burning hot. I looked up at Oliver cautiously. His expression was unreadable. Come back with me first and explain what happened tonight. My eyes lit up, and I trotted along behind him. The bodyguard's quarters weren't far from Oliver's room, but that short walk felt like a lifetime. The moment the door closed, I took a deep breath of the fragrance in Oliver's room. I really missed this. Oliver looked at me like I was a pervert. Tell me, why have you been avoiding me lately, and why did you get into a fight today? Finally, I had a chance to be alone with Oliver, but I didn't want to answer his questions. Oliver, you really have no sense of romance. Oliver was so annoyed by me that he laughed. Matthew, stop changing the subject. Those people's foul language doesn't deserve to reach Oliver's ears. I stuck out my neck stubbornly. I just don't like the look of those people. So if you don't like the look of me, are you gonna beat me up too? I instinctively denied it. How could I bear to do that? The temperature in the room was rising higher and higher. I couldn't help but unbutton 2 of my shirt buttons and gave a sheepish smile under Oliver's intense gaze. But Oliver didn't give me a chance to escape. Kneel down. I let Oliver tug at my tie and pull me towards him. When I looked up, Oliver's eyelashes were distinct. His lips were red and soft. His mouth was blabbering on about something. I wanted to kiss him. The increasingly strong urge made me want to overstep my bounds. Amid Oliver's questioning, I stared intently at his lips and asked sincerely, Oliver, can I kiss you? I didn't give Oliver a chance to refute. I leaned up and pressed my lips against his. Under his startled gaze, I contentedly went a step further. Oliver, you're so soft. I was suddenly pushed to the ground by him. Oliver covered his lips in a flustered manner, and his cold demeanor was shattered by this kiss. Matthew, are you out of your mind? I didn't give a damn. Go ahead and hit me, Oliver asked me, seething with anger and hatred, gritting his teeth. Matthew, what the hell is our relationship now? I was stunned for a moment, then cautiously moved closer to him. The kind of relationship where we've kissed? Oliver was always like this, acting as if nothing had happened right after a kiss. I was pulling out grass by the wall, completely clueless as to why I'd made him angry. When my buddy dragged me out of the bushes, I'd even forgotten that today was the performance review meeting. Oliver's bodyguards filled the room. The butler was counting the number of people with a serious expression. Among these guys, those with a better build than me weren't as good looking, and there was no one better looking than me. After finally convincing myself, I still gasped when I actually stepped onto the stage. The person before me was Henry. He was talking eloquently about how he'd gone from an ordinary bodyguard to Oliver's personal bodyguard. I snorted and swaggered up. I'm Oliver's favorite male bodyguard. The people below fell silent for a moment, and soon after, bursts of laughter rang out. Cut the crap. Everyone knows you've fallen out of favor with the master and have been transferred away from his side. I forced myself to hold on. I'm strong and good at my job. Oliver surely likes me. If you don't believe me, ask Oliver, the people below whispered. Everyone knew Oliver wouldn't come. Just as I was about to step down, Oliver suddenly showed up in front of everyone. Then tell me, how do I like you the most? You just like me the most. Oliver sneered, but surprisingly didn't refute me. I looked at Oliver smugly. He said unhurriedly, since you're my favorite male bodyguard, I should give you some reward. $1 million or staying by my side. Choose one. I got it. This was a test for me. Without hesitation, I choose the $1 million. Oliver's face turned darker and darker, and his tone was full of danger. Matthew, say it again. What exactly do you choose? I scratched my head. $1 million. Oliver's expression became colder and colder. He silently controlled the wheelchair and moved forward. Suddenly, I had an inspiration and shouted from behind. Because I'll always be by your side. Sure enough, Oliver stopped. His expression was hard to read. Matthew, you're quite the talker. I spent the whole afternoon trying to figure it out, but still had no idea what Oliver meant. Oliver sent over $1 million as promised. I was overjoyed and always took it out to look at. As the sky grew darker and everyone was fast asleep, I stared at my faintly blue-lit phone, flipped out of bed, grabbed the $1 million, and quietly sneaked towards the door. These people were sleeping like logs and didn't notice me at all. Before I left, I was going to secretly tell Oliver to get some bodyguards with better quality. As I got closer and closer to the gate, a lot of reluctance welled up in my heart. Gritting my teeth, carrying the heavy load in my hand, I crouched like a creep in front of Oliver's door. This might be the closest I'll ever get to Oliver. My heart ached as I stroked his door. Click. The door opened. In the glare of Oliver's furious eyes, I fell flat on my face. Henry disdainfully picked me up and threw me into the room. I didn't dare to look up at Oliver. The voice from above made me aware of his anger. When Henry told me you were going to run, I didn't believe it, but I never thought you'd actually do it. I clenched my fists and crawled at his feet. Oliver's tone was tinged with disappointment, and I instinctively grabbed at his legs. It's not like that. Henry kicked me away, and I endured the pain and crawled back. When Henry's foot rose again, Oliver slammed his hand on the table. That's enough. You go out first. Henry looked extremely reluctant. He tried to explain to Oliver how dangerous I was. Oliver waved his hand and shooed him out. Only the two of us were left in the room. The long silence made me want to say something. I opened my mouth, and Oliver curled his lips in a self-deprecating smile. Seeing that expression on him made my heart ache. Oliver, things aren't what you think. I had things to say but couldn't, and my heart grew colder bit by bit. Oliver's silence was like a judgment on me. His fingers tapped lightly on the table. Then he suddenly stood up. I stared at him in shock, letting him grip my chin. Matthew, I still have $1 million and an opportunity here. You choose again. My heart was pounding like a drum, and I spoke with difficulty. I choose the $1 million. Oliver was so angry that he laughed. He nodded repeatedly, and the hand pinching my chin grew tighter. I instinctively sensed danger, yet I didn't want to back away even a step. In that case, I'll give you $5 million. Oliver yanked me onto his lap. Today you said I favored you because you're good in bed. I have to give it a try so I don't feel like I'm losing out. I was clearly in Oliver's arms, yet it felt like we were worlds apart. He coldly pushed me away, as if the tenderness from moments ago had never happened. The moment Oliver turned to leave, I couldn't help but ask him, Oliver, does your leg hurt? Oliver restricted my freedom and locked me in his room. I saw him every day, but he grew colder and colder towards me. The deadline that guy mentioned was approaching, and I grew more and more anxious. Finally, I caught Oliver after a business dinner. He had a bit to drink, and his eyes weren't as clear as usual. His tie was pulled in a suggestive way, and in Oliver's dark eyes, there was only me. I couldn't help but step forward and brace myself on Oliver's knees. Oliver, you've kept me locked up for so long. What on earth do you want? He curled his lips into a smile, his expression ambiguous. Of course, I want to hear the truth from your lips. He stroked my lips again and again, his fingers pressing slightly, and I shivered with his movement. Oliver, I won't lie to you. Oliver chuckled softly and picked up another drink from the wine cabinet. I couldn't help but step forward to stop him. Your leg has just healed. Don't drink anymore. I'll go heat you up a glass of milk. Oliver was silent for a while, then nodded in agreement. This was the first time I'd left his room in recent days. I took a deep breath. When I got back to the room, I met Oliver's eyes fixed on the door. His meaning was clear. I thought you were going to run away again. How could I? Oliver fell asleep not long after drinking that glass of milk. I stroked his sleeping face and gently kissed his cheek. Wait for me to come back. I put enough knockout drops in that glass of wine, enough to keep Oliver asleep until dawn. As long as things go smoothly, I'll be able to get back before Oliver wakes up. But things didn't go as planned. I was caught as soon as I arrived at the appointed place. The moment the hood was removed, the glaring sunlight made me dizzy. That annoying second uncle of Oliver showed up in front of me with a wrinkled face. Matthew, I didn't expect you to have some tricks up your sleeve, becoming Oliver's lover. What? Did you think you were hot stuff just because you slept with Oliver a few times and dared to disobey my orders? I heard you lost your memory. Guys, help our little brother regain his memory. Bucket after bucket of cold water was poured over my head. I was shivering with cold. I don't know how much time had passed, but these guys finally stopped. Oliver's uncle was twirling a string of prayer beads. I'm a reasonable man. Losing your memory isn't a big deal. As long as you tell me where Oliver hid the confidential documents, I'll let you go right away. Otherwise, your beautiful girlfriend will end up as dog food. I burst into tears. Damn it. I'm after Oliver. Where did this so-called girlfriend come from? My heart grew colder and colder, as if it was being squeezed tightly. After being locked in the basement, I couldn't help asking the guard, "Dude, do I really have a girlfriend? And are we on good terms?" I was being very cautious. The guy opposite was playing with the beads in his hand, with an ambiguous expression. Yeah, you two are crazy about each other. You're always holding on to her. I huddled in the corner, hoping all this was just a nightmare. Oliver and I were victims of the same car accident. To be precise, if it wasn't to avoid me, Oliver wouldn't have crashed. Instead of blaming me, he even arranged for me to be his bodyguard. I was angry and resentful, pounding on the wall. Bro, if I give my girlfriend $5 million, do you think she'll break up with me? The basement was pitch dark. I didn't know how many days had passed when Oliver's uncle kicked the door open, fuming. Matthew, you useless piece of crap. Oliver found out about you ages ago. Beat him to a pulp. Amid his curses, I pieced together what had happened in the past few days. Turns out Oliver had long known I was the mole he'd planted. Following the trail where they took me away, he smoothly caught those who leaked company secrets and those who colluded from within the old mansion. I smiled weakly, enduring the pain all over my body. Well, this is for the best. But Oliver, how much of your feelings for me were real? I was getting colder and colder, and faintly, I actually saw Oliver rushing towards me. I fell into an embrace that smelled of sandalwood. In the last second before passing out, I couldn't help but rub against it slightly. If this is a dream, please let me stay a little longer. The smell of disinfectant in the hospital was horribly pungent. I opened my eyes, and there was no one around me. A huge sense of desolation surrounded me. I couldn't help feeling sorry for myself. I wonder which kind-hearted person sent me to the hospital. I must thank him sincerely if I see him. Footsteps approached. I put on a smile, ready to express my gratitude. Oliver's cold face made me swallow the words that were on the tip of my tongue. I was at a loss. Why are you here? Who did you expect then? Oliver snorted coldly, then pulled a stool over and sat down on his own. Surprised to see me? Wish you could poison me? I quickly got out of bed and hugged Oliver, cutting off his last words. If you don't want to see me, I'll leave. Oliver's embrace was so warm that I couldn't help but sink into it. I forced myself to let go and slunk back into the covers. You had the guts to hug me, but not to hold on a bit longer. I let out a sigh. I can't hug you anymore. Do whatever you want. Beat me or scold me. I'll stay away from you from now on. Oliver was so angry that he laughed and pinched my ear. Matthew, what are you up to this time? That girlfriend I couldn't remember was like a thorn in my heart, leaving me at a loss. I've liked Oliver for a long time and I understand what he means. Because of my amnesia, I'm not sure if I have a girlfriend or not. I love Oliver just because he's Oliver, regardless of gender. But now, I don't deserve him. I lowered my head more and more, refusing him dejectedly. Oliver, you should go. I'm not good enough for you. Oliver suddenly hugged me from behind, trapping me in his warm embrace. Matthew, don't let that old guy fool you. I knew who you were the moment you showed up in front of me. My heart sank deeper and deeper, and tears welled up in my eyes. I gritted my teeth. Oliver, did you know I had a girlfriend a long time ago? Actually, we've long. Before Oliver could finish his words, his face turned dark. He abruptly spun me around. Matthew, Explain this to me clearly. Who the hell is your damned girlfriend? I finally lost control. How should I know? If I knew, would I be here feeling sorry for myself? Oliver, I do like you, but I can't be an immoral person. When I remember who my girlfriend is, I'll leave her all 5 million and stay far away from both of you. I'm a bad person. It's my fault. Oliver fell silent as I rambled on. He didn't make a sound for a long time. Just when I thought he was about to leave, I turned around and met his furious eyes. Matthew, if you dare to lie to me, I'll finish you off myself. To prevent you from leaking information again, you'll stay by my side during this time and think hard about your friend. I didn't understand why Oliver was so angry, but I had a vague feeling that things were not going as I thought. Returning to the old mansion again, I felt like I'd been away for ages. I lingered hesitantly outside Oliver's door. I wanted to say something but held back. We can't sleep anymore. The bodyguards around Oliver all stretched their necks and pricked up their ears to listen. Henry looked even more disdainful. In Oliver's silence, they threw me into the room. The master fancies you. It's a favor to you. Don't play hard to get. Get in there. Come on. Oliver's room made me feel at ease. I was hesitating and about to sit on the bed. Oliver knocked on the table with a half smile. I've thought about it. It's really not good for us to live together now. So, you sleep on the floor. Oliver was extremely busy every day. I slept on the floor and my back and waist ached. Every day when I went out, my colleagues would tease me. The master is really something, such a strong body. Matthew is quite a figure, but every day when he comes out of the master's room, he either twists his shoulders or sways his hips. Their ambiguous smiles got into my ears and I felt like crying but had no tears. Damn it, I'm the top, a real top. They were really perfunctory in response to me. Yeah, you're the top, a super top. Amidst all the joking and fooling around every day, Oliver's second uncle was completely under control. I had thought Oliver could finally catch a break and get some rest. But at the bidding meeting the next day, the competitor got the upper hand and revealed a perfect plan. I was furious and resentful. Oliver and his team had been burning the midnight oil for this plan for days and nights. He hadn't had a good rest for a whole month and had lost some weight. All his hard work was just wasted like this. When Oliver came back, he kept a poker face, just as usual. I rushed forward and punched the wall. Which son of a bitch leaked the confidential information? Wasn't your old geezer of an uncle already under control? Oliver lowered his head, with a smile that was full of coldness in his eyes and brows. It's not just him who wants me to fail in the Fu family. Henry, who usually stayed out of these things, suddenly snorted. I'm afraid someone is crying wolf. I frowned and grabbed Henry's collar. Henry, what the hell do you mean? He didn't back down, and the strength in his hands didn't weaken. Isn't what I mean obvious? You were originally a mole sent by Fu Jianan, the second master of the Fu family. The family head had them under control before you left. But as soon as you came back, the company's information was leaked. Dare you say you have nothing to do with it? I punched him in the face. You bastard. I wouldn't stoop to those sneaky things. If you're not sneaky, why were you in that car accident? You can fool others with some things, but don't fool yourself. Henry's words left me speechless, and I gradually loosened my grip. Amnesia is like a permanent thorn between me and Oliver. Just as Henry's fist was about to knock me to the ground, Oliver coldly snapped. That's enough. The real mole hasn't been found yet, and you two are already at each other's throats. Both of you, go stand facing each other in the detention room as punishment. Henry and I involuntarily stopped what we were doing and stared at Oliver in disbelief. What? Is no one going to listen to what the head of the family says now? The punishment Oliver mentioned was the last thing any bodyguard wanted to accept. In that enclosed space, having to stand toe-to-toe with a colleague you just fought with, staring at each other awkwardly. Henry and I were clearly reluctant. Mole, you're the mole. The distance during the argument was too close for comfort. We loathed each other and finally shut up for once. After coming out of the detention room, Henry and I reached a rare consensus. Never argue in front of Oliver again. It was just unbearable. Oliver was busy hunting down the mole, and since I had nothing better to do, I decided not to sit around idly. I hopped on my old, beat-up bike and headed to my former employer. Oliver's uncle had been detained, and the bodyguards hadn't been dismissed yet. I tried to find someone I knew well to ask about the reasons for me going to Oliver's place, but no one was willing to talk to me. I wandered around, turning left and right, before finally finding the housekeeper in the mansion. He was the one Oliver had sent to his uncle's place. The false peace only lasted a few months before he was replaced by a trusted confidant. He'd been taking care of that old guy's garden ever since. "Sir, do you know Matthew?" The old man was strong as an ox, sweeping the yard, and was about to sweep away the old geezer's favorite flowers. How could I not know that rascal? My eyes lit up. "Then could you tell me something about him?" The old man turned around and took a closer look at me. He picked up the broom and swept towards me. "You scoundrel! Have you finished what I told you to do? You still have the nerve to come here and pester me. I think you've got a death wish." The old man and I circled around the garden. After getting so out of breath that I was exhausted, I couldn't help but stop. "Old man, if you want to hit me, just do it. I can't run anymore." The old man remained calm as he said, "Useless wretch. How did I end up training such a good-for-nothing like you?" I massaged his shoulders and legs, and finally managed to calm the old man's anger. "Old man, please tell me. I've lost my memory. I don't even know who I am or what I was doing." The old man eyed me suspiciously. "No wonder you seem so stupid this time you're back. So you're really out of your mind." He threw the broom in his hand to me and, with his hands behind his back, started to clear things up for me. Turns out I wasn't a mole sent by Oliver's uncle to Oliver at all. I was on Oliver's side from the very beginning. I came to this old geezer's mansion as an undercover agent together with the old man. After hearing that Oliver's uncle wanted to send someone to spy on him, I volunteered and was selected along with one of the bodyguards. Just as I was on my way to tip Oliver off, I got caught up in that car accident. That old geezer always thought I'd found a unique way to win Oliver's trust, so he didn't contact me, just waiting for the right moment to strike a fatal blow at Oliver. My head was hurting more and more, so I was a double agent after all. But who on earth was that person? The old man shrugged. "Things were urgent. You ran off without telling me. For now, you're the only one who can know about this." I still couldn't recall, but I felt a bit more at ease. To ease the other half of my unease, I couldn't help but nudge the old man. "Sir, who exactly is this girlfriend they keep talking about?" The old man flew into a rage, grabbed my ear and dragged me to the middle, looking like he was about to kick me. "Matthew, you good for nothing. If you dare to be unfaithful to the master, I'll chop off your balls." I was stunned, and a huge wave of joy welled up from the bottom of my heart. Sir, please tell me, what on earth is going on?" After he finished speaking, I was itching to rush to Oliver's side right away, forcing myself to hold back my eagerness. I asked cautiously, "Sir, what's this about the girlfriend they say I carry around everywhere?" They seemed so certain about it. The old man was about to scold me when he suddenly remembered something. With a reluctant look, he stuffed something into my hand. "You mustn't let the master find out." I opened the wallet, and there was only a photo of a beautiful woman inside. I took it out and examined it carefully in the sunlight. "Isn't this Oliver?" The old man snorted coldly. "You rascal, you said you couldn't bear to part with the family head and were afraid of being found out by those people, so you paid a high price to Photoshop a picture of the family head in women's clothes and carried it with you every day in your arms. If I hadn't remembered it suddenly, you would have been in deep trouble." The doubts in my heart were completely cleared up. I took a deep breath and rushed back to find Oliver. As for that mole, I didn't need to recover my memory to figure out who it was. I pushed open Oliver's door. He was rubbing his temples wearily. I rushed over and hugged Oliver tightly in my arms, embracing my lost and found treasure. "What are you up to again?" I couldn't help but cover his mouth with a kiss. There was no uncertainty, no doubt. I just desperately wanted to be one with this person. Oliver took the lead and pressed my head to deepen the kiss. When we separated, I was out of breath. "Oliver, the mole is Henry." The smile on his face faded. He slapped me on the head. "You're such a spoilsport." I nestled in his arms. "Even though I haven't remembered anything, someone has already told me the story between us." "Oliver, can you ask me again what our relationship is?" Just when I thought Oliver wouldn't ask, he rubbed my hair, gently but firmly. "What is our relationship? You're my boyfriend." Back then, I volunteered to go undercover at William's place. Oliver was dead set against it, but he couldn't resist my daily pestering. As a result, during that time, he lost such an important boyfriend. How heartbroken Oliver must have been. Oliver, I'm sorry for making you worry. He gently kissed my forehead. It's okay. As long as you're by my side, I'm willing to wait however long it takes. After the bidding competition ended, Oliver and I dealt with Henry's matter. He glared at me viciously. What's the use of you remembering everything? Oliver's bidding competition was still a complete failure. Matthew, you were one step behind me this time. I punched him on the head and waved my hand at him. No, no, no. This time, everyone was one step ahead of you too. Oliver had long noticed Henry's fishy behavior and prepared another perfect plan in advance. Henry fell for it and stole that plan as expected. William was still overjoyed, thinking he had won big, not realizing that of the two undercover agents he sent, one had been Oliver's man from the start, and the other fool was exposed halfway. Ignoring Henry's screams, Oliver and I finally let out a sigh of relief and walked hand in hand into the sunlight. I nestled in his arms. Oliver, it really feels like a huge loss not being able to remember what it was like to date you. It's okay, then let's fall in love all over again. At night, as I lay in Oliver's arms, I felt shy for the first time in a long while and tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. Oliver pinned me between his chest and arms, not allowing me to move around. His warm breath hit my neck. What are you fidgeting around for in the middle of the night? I wriggled around and felt something fall out of my pocket. Before I could stop him, Oliver picked it up first. Matthew, care to explain what this thing is exactly? I felt like crying but had no tears. Watching Oliver playing with that photo, I felt a chill down my spine. If you want to see me in women's clothes, sure, I'll indulge you. Oliver was so eager to show off his women's clothes that he kept me up all night. It was almost dawn when I finally went to sleep. The sunlight filtering through the curtains shone on me, and I slumped down, exhausted. It was hot outside, but I felt cold. Still, there were beautiful sights everywhere.